Let there be light.
And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. This man came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light which gives light to every man coming into the world.
In the 3rd chapter of John's Gospel, there was a Pharisee, a man named Nicodemus, who was a member of the Jewish ruling council. He came to Jesus by night, and during their meeting, Jesus said this to him.
For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone practicing evil hates the light, and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God.
And it is at the very beginning that mankind chose darkness over light, for it was in the Garden of Eden that darkness entered our world when Adam and Eve chose to believe the lie of the serpent over God's truth. And mankind continued to grow in that darkness, and in their heart was wickedness. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said,
I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, and birds of the air. For I am sorry that I have made them.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Then the Lord said in his heart,
I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done.
Then God spoke to Noah and his sons and said,
Thus I establish my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth.
And God also said to Noah and his sons,
Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man. And as for you, be fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply in it.
But mankind chose darkness over light once again, and they did not obey God's command to go fill the earth, but rather they went to go make a name for themselves in the land of Shinar, by building a city and a tower that would reach the heavens. And the Lord said,
Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
And the city's name was Babel, because it was there the Lord had confused the language of all the earth. And from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. And mankind continued to build cities for themselves, but the light of God was not within them. Many years later, the Lord would call Abraham out of one of these cities that was in the land of the Chaldeans. And the Lord said to him,
Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed.
And the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, that his descendants would receive the land that he showed him. Over 500 years later, Abraham's descendants, the nation of Israel, did receive that land, just as God promised Abraham. And in that land, through the seed of Abraham, by way of the tribe of Judah, God established a king for Israel, named David. And it is also God who said this to the prophet Nathan about King David and his throne.
When your days are fulfilled, and you rest with your fathers, I will set up your seed after you, who will come from your body, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son.
But the kingdom would fracture, and Israel would turn from God's light and follow after other gods, and darkness came into the land. And it is the prophet Isaiah who wrote this about Israel.
To the law and to the testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. They will pass through it hard-pressed and hungry. And it shall happen when they are hungry, that they will be enraged and curse their king and their God, and look upward. Then they will look to the earth, and see trouble and darkness, gloom of anguish, and they will be driven into darkness.
But out of that darkness a great light would come forth. As the prophet said in Isaiah chapter 9,
By the way of the sea beyond the Jordan in Galilee of the Gentiles, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined.
And it is Jesus who is this great light, who has appeared in the land of the shadow of death. And he is the fulfillment of this prophecy of Isaiah, as written in Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 through 17. And it is Jesus who said this of himself while he was speaking to the Pharisees in the temple.
I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life.
And it is Jesus who is from the seed of David and Abraham, as recorded in Matthew chapter 1. And he is the fulfillment of God's promise to David. For it is with Jesus that God has established the eternal throne and kingdom, just as the prophet wrote in Isaiah chapter 9.
For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice from that time forward, even forever.
And it is God who said this of Jesus to the prophet in Isaiah chapter 49.
Indeed, he says, It is too small a thing that you should be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved ones of Israel. I will also give you as a light to the Gentiles, that you should be my salvation to the ends of the earth.
And behold, there was a man named Simeon who was waiting at the temple, and through the Holy Spirit said this to Joseph and Mary when they came to the temple to present Jesus to the Lord.
Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared before the face of all peoples, a light to bring revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel.
And it is Jesus who is Israel, from the tribe of Judah, the servant that was sent forth by God as a light in the darkness. And he also said this to a great multitude, as written in Matthew chapter 5.
You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven.
And it is the Apostle Paul who wrote this about all those who would place their faith in Jesus.
For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. But all things that are exposed are made manifest by the light, for whatever makes manifest is light. Therefore he says, Awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light.
So just as the light of Jesus is within you, let that light shine forth to all the world. And through his Holy Spirit, proclaim his name with courage, that his light has overcome the darkness. And in him is grace, truth, and salvation. And just as we began with God saying,
Let there be light.
we end with what Paul said of Jesus as God's light, as he wrote in his second letter to the Corinthians.
For it is the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness, who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ.
He who believes in me believes not in me, but in him who sent me. And he who sees me sees him who sent me. I have come as a light into the world, that whoever believes in me should not abide in darkness. And if anyone hears my words and does not believe, I do not judge him, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world.
So go into the world and let that light shine through you, and share Jesus with all people.